Earthbound, or as it's known in Japan, Mother, has garnered up quite the cult following throughout the many years it's been around since the NES days, and those fans definitely let their voices be heard. There's been a fan translation of the Japan exclusive Mother 3, and Earthbound enthusiasts have even gone so far as to make a brand spanking new game called Mother 4. That takes some serious dedication and love for the series. As much as fans pester Nintendo to localize the rest of the Mother series, they just don't seem to budge. Thankfully, Nintendo was kind enough to drop Earthbound on the Wii U Virtual Console, for those who are oblivious to this wacky RPG and were only acquainted with the yo-yo slinging boy named Ness from the Smash Bros. Series. Or Blondie from Brawl, there's him too. Even with Nintendo not giving the franchise much love outside of Japan, developers can take it upon themselves to build something that feels like Earthbound, to satisfy those die-hard fans jonesing for some crazy, off-the-wall RPG goodness. And that's exactly what developer Eden Industries has done with Citizens of Earth. This game might ring a bell for some, since it originally had its start on Kickstarter, but it ultimately failed to reach its funding goal, and kinda just fell off the face of the earth, no pun intended. But Atlus must have seen the game's potential, because out of the blue, Citizens of Earth resurfaced, and here we are now with the game just within the reach of our meaty claws. Taking on the role of the Vice President of the world, yeah, he's kind of a big deal. You return home after a long election, hoping for a good old vacation, but that soon becomes short-lived since you are quickly thrust into a quest to save, you guessed it, the world. The wacky oddities start right from the get-go, with the rival political contender rallying against you, and it only gets crazier the farther you get. You'll face off against children hopped up on sugar, hippies, well, being hippies, and deers with telephones coming out of their butts. I'm not even joking, there are rampaging telephone deers, and that's really only the tip of the iceberg. Cactus cats? It's got those too. I know, it's awesome. The characters you meet, the enemies you encounter, and the way the story plays out feels very Earthbound-y, with its modern theme yet crazy antics, so fans will feel right at home. The story, although not something deep, oozes just enough charm to keep things interesting, thanks to its oddball cast and nutty events. Of course, with any RPG, the combat is a central part, and Citizens of Earth doesn't disappoint here. Aesthetically, you have the behind-the-back viewpoint and the text scrolling at the top telling you what each character is doing, like Earthbound. But how you fight is what makes it distinct. Rather than just mashing one fight button the entirety of the time, you'll be keeping close watch on your power supply. Each character has a set number of power orbs, and depending on the move you use, it will either fill your meter back up or deplenish it. You'll want to strategically manage your power supply, because your strongest special attacks will cost the most power. It actually works out pretty well and gets you to mix up which moves you use, so you're not just sitting there mashing A the whole time. I'm also pleased to see that there are no random encounters, like Earthbound. Every character you battle appears on screen, so it's not like you're walking on fiery coals wondering when the next evildoer is going to pop up and annoy you. This way, if you maneuver your snake-like party correctly, you can dodge enemies looking to duke it out. I really like that after you have successfully completed the mission in a particular area of the game, every enemy in that area will start to run away from you. It's a big relief in case you want to go back to that specific area to explore more, and not have to worry about super weak enemies looking to get squished by the mighty foot of the VP. But to further carve out its own identity, Citizens of Earth allows you to recruit numerous stereotypical citizens that inhabit this loony bin of a world. Gone are the days of paladins, assassins, or knights on horseback, because car salesmen, lifeguards, baristas, and 37 other citizens are up for the job of saving the Earth. This way, it really gets you to explore the game's world fully as you try to find each and every citizen and have them join your team. The amazing part is that they aren't superficial by being simple cosmetic changes, but rather they're full-fledged characters each with their own unique moves and playstyles. For example, the Baker works great as a medic as he can heal and revive party members, while also dishing out strong fire-based attacks. And then there's the Fangirl, who, although is quite weak with physical attacks, is great at giving your party offensive and defensive stat buffs. Recruiting all these different citizens is a really captivating and interesting mechanic, as you wonder what other types of citizens are laying in wait, and how they can be put to use on your team. Plus, it really lows down the game with content, since each recruitable citizen acts as their own side quest, as most of them play hard to get. You usually have to do something for them before they lend you their aid in return, like breaking a conspiracy guy out of jail. scratch their back, and they'll scratch yours. The citizens are even helpful outside of battle, as each one unlocks some new feature to tweak the gameplay here and there. The pilot can instantaneously warp you to different areas of the world to get to places that much faster. The mascot guy can change the difficulty, thus giving you more experience if you make the game more difficult. And the scientist can change the time of day. There was one character ability that allows you to zoom the camera in and out, which I thought was kind of weird since that should have just been in the options to begin with, but whatever. I can't speak for all the characters because I didn't unlock every single one of them, but either way, it's really commendable how deep Eden Industries went with designing each character in this game to make them varied. Plus, it just really allows for a ton of customization as you mix and match them in your party of 3. Yes, I know you walk around with 4 characters, but Mr. VP Dude just likes to watch during battles. While playing, it may be hard to know where to go just based on looking at the overworld, so keeping your eye on the map is useful. Only problem is, the map is fairly awkward, as it gives you a giant zoomed out layout of the entire area, and it's stagnant. You can't zoom in to get a better idea of where things are, and it can even be difficult at times to simply find where you are on the map. The map system could have definitely been optimized better to make it feel not so much like a mess, with everything bombarding you at once. I'm not even joking, there are dots everywhere, from the enemies, treasure, main objectives, secondary objectives, and recruitable citizens. You've got a giant map of dots. Another gripe I have are the loading times, because they are just a little too long for my liking. Doing something as simple as walking into a building so you can see if there are any goodies or citizens waiting around will, for the most part, prompt the loading screen to pop up. The game doesn't just fade to black and plop you right into the new area. No, it gets dragged out for a few more seconds. This might seem a little nitpicky since the loading times aren't unbearably long, but those few seconds are precious, and it did deter me from entering buildings at times. But that's not all. Citizens of Earth is not all smooth sailing, because it does have some technical problems. I don't know all the details on how the game behaves on other platforms, but in the Wii U version, it has a few bugs, and one that I found to be pretty annoying. The game would freeze, the car you used to travel around town got stuck a couple times and wouldn't allow me to move or even open up the menu, and a couple other odd bugs happened as well. But one of the worst problems I had was at the very end of the game, and I'm talking about the very end, right when things are wrapping up. The game froze numerous times at the same exact spot, and it would force me to do a hard reset. I seriously thought the game was broken and I wouldn't be able to see the ending of the game because of how many times I tried, but I did eventually succeed in getting past the bug after about 7 times. Thankfully, the game does have an autosave feature every time it goes to a loading screen, but the game needs a patch to fix these problems as soon as possible. Now, even though eShop titles may seem like they cater more towards pixel art or anime style designs, Citizens of Earth goes for a more westernized cartoon look, which is totally fitting for the game since it's all about the western world. The artwork is clean, it's colorful, and the characters are nicely detailed, so what's not to like? I did find some animations to be a little weird though in battle. An enemy might do his animation for his attack, but then do it again right after that for no apparent reason. Maybe they just really want to show off their moves. I don't know. On the other hand, the music is actually really pleasant. It has a zany and sometimes otherworldly vibe to it that permeates throughout. Like Earthbound. You can definitely tell that the soundtrack is heavily inspired by said game, but it carves out its own music that doesn't feel like it was ripped straight from it. And some of the tunes are actually pretty darn catchy and got me to sing out loud. So props to the man or woman manning the turntables over at Eden Industries. Me likey the music. On the other hand, I was really impressed by the voice acting in this game. For a title that was only released as a digital download, I wasn't expecting there to be so much voice work. Most of the dialogue has voice acting to accompany it, and it's really well done with plenty of different accents and manners of speaking. The way some of the lines are delivered are actually pretty funny and got me to chuckle, which is difficult to get me to do when I'm playing video games all by myself. I'm usually straight-faced the entire time. Like that. In terms of the game's length, you can probably bust through the game in about 10 hours if you don't bother too much with finding all the citizens. But if you do take the time to do just that, prepare to dedicate a good helping of time. I like when video games allow you to play through a new game plus once you complete it the first go around, so you can make it that much harder on yourself. And it's nice to see that Citizens of Earth offers just that if you desire to play through it a second time. So the game does indeed offer enough content to satisfy the price of $15. Overall, I was pretty excited for the release of Citizens of Earth, and I was hoping it would turn out to be a quirky and enjoyable RPG inspired by the one and only Earthbound. The game does excel in some areas, but it does fall flat elsewhere. I love the overabundance of recruitable citizens, each with their own playstyles, and the music and voice acting is pretty great, but the wonky map system, annoying loading screens, and bugs don't exactly add to the enjoyment. So, in all, the GamingPixelShow.com thinks Citizens of Earth is a good game. But that will bring us to the end of this review, and if you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up and add your favorites and all that good stuff, and you can stay tuned for more videos in the future. But I will talk to you in the next video, guys. Bye!